Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Founders Arc, a Lost Ark podcast. Unfortunately, with, me alone, I would definitely love to do this podcast with another person at least. But I haven't really found a person yet I can do this with, because the problem is I need somebody who knows what's going on with Lost Ark, and I also need the person who has already played the game. And the problem is the game is not really out yet in the West, so a lot of people might have heard about the game, they have seen some gameplay, but they don't really know what's going on, and they have never played the game. So unfortunately, right now, I have to do this podcast on my own, but I hope that is changing very soon. So what you were seeing here in the background is just some pre-recorded footage of my last time when I played the game. Nothing crazy going on. This is just like background stuff, so ignore it. There's nothing really much going on I will talk about, but I want to talk about Lost Ark. And if you are listening to it on Spotify, then, well, you don't see anything, but it isn't really important. It's a podcast in the end. So, let's talk about Lost Ark. What is Lost Ark, if you have never heard about it? Lost Ark is an MMO coming from South Korea, hopefully soon to the West, and it has already been released in, well, South Korea, China, Russia, and last but not least, Japan. And a lot of people, if you have already seen some gameplay about it or even read like an article or a preview, compare this to Diablo because it's an action RPG, right? Well, wrong. It's not. Yes, well, technically it's not entirely wrong. Let's cut the people some slack here. It very much plays like an action RPG. Like, all the abilities have very low cooldown, like everything is very action oriented, and it feels like an action RPG, especially the first 35 hours of the game are basically just you running from A to B, doing some missions, and following the story. That's it. That's what you're doing, and this is why the game feels very much like an action RPG, and this is why a lot of people believe that this is an action RPG. But after 35 levels, which is not 35 hours, but like 20 hours, 15 hours, probably something like that, you are actually reaching the MMO part. And the whole world is opening up to you. The world is even so big that you get a ship and then you can sail around. And the whole time you are meeting other players. It's not like Diablo or like Destiny where you only meet people in the hub and then afterwards people disappear. You always see the people running around. So it is really more like an MMO, and the idea of an MMO than it is like an action RPG. Like, again, it takes some ideas from Diablo, so I can totally see why people sometimes believe this might be another Diablo-esque game, but it really isn't. It really isn't. And you only see that later in the game, and I can see why a lot of people who played the preview haven't really seen that. So I can understand where the confusion is coming from. Now, with that said, the game has a lot of different gameplay elements to it, and I want to talk about those gameplay elements. I also want to talk about things which are happening right now in the world of Lost Ark, which might be interesting for us here in the West. And I also want to give you an update a little bit about how's it going with this game coming to the West. Well, let's answer the most like interesting question a lot of people have is how's it going with this game? Like, why is this game still not out in the West? What takes them so long? Well, a lot of things. They wanted to release it in some region where they believe that those kind of games will have it a little bit easier. Keep in mind that people or developers in Asia still sometimes look at the Western gaming sphere and might believe that their games will not find a big enough audience in the West, which is not really true. Like, games like Final Fantasy have proven long ago that there is a huge fanship around the world regarding those games. But I think the biggest problem why this game hasn't been released in the West yet is A, they were looking for a publisher, and B, some of the gameplay elements they really wanted for the Western release have been not released yet. And one of the most important features is 2.0. What is 2.0? 2.0 is changing the game quite a bit. I wouldn't say dramatically, but quite a bit. Like a lot of features are getting unfortunately removed. Like the card game is getting removed, and some of the features you can do with your boat is getting removed. But they are also adding some new features to it, and they are also like streamlining things. So we are losing a little bit, we are gaining a little bit, and they're still trying to figure out what exactly they want to do with the game. And it seems like that 2.0 is finally that patch where the developer made up their mind on what they want to do with this game, where they want to go with it. And this is why they wanted to release 2.0 first. But another very important thing is the classes. So right now, the classes in 1.0, which I'm playing here, by the way, in the background, or 1.x, are all gender locked. So that means you want to play a warrior? Well, you play as a male. You want to play a mage? You play as a female. You want to play as a hunter, a ranger? You play as a male. You want to play as a monk? You play as a female, and so on and so forth. And well, let's be real here. Not a lot of people like that idea, especially here in the West. People want to choose their gender, and gender locks are not necessarily something which are really beloved here. So, with 2.0, this gender lock gets removed. Wait, gets removed? It isn't already removed? No. No, unfortunately not. 2.0 is out in South Korea now for quite some time and some other regions, but they haven't removed the gender lock yet. And they have also announced a few weeks ago that they are thinking about not just removing the gender locks, but introducing similar classes. So you might have seen this before in, let's say, Black Desert Online, where they are not actually just releasing the same class without, well, the male or female gender linked to it, but they are releasing a similar class, but still different enough than the other class, which you can only play as a male or only play as a female, like a mirror class. Something like what Warhammer did, Warhammer Online, if you have ever played it. Which brings me also to a problem. Balance. Black Desert Online has showed that they have some smaller balance issues here, and especially Warhammer Online, if you have never played it, had some huge balance issues. Like, they were outright mirror classes, which were just better. Just outright better. Let me give you an example. So on the good side, you could play as a white lion, which was a high elf with a two-handed axe and, well, a white lion as a pet, right? And he would get stronger with new equipment. The two-handed weapon would do more damage, and whenever he gets better equipment, part of those stats would also go to the lion, and the lion would become stronger. Now, on the evil side, you could play a Chaos Barbarian, and that Chaos Barbarian would have only a one-handed weapon plus a mutation at its arm. And the problem was just that the one-handed weapon, of course, didn't do as much damage as the two-handed axe. Second, the arm mutation didn't get any stats. When you reached max level on that character with one of the arm mutations, the mutations wouldn't get stronger, the lion would. And they had multiple of those things going, where you were just like, why is this a thing? Like one of the biggest problems they actually had was like the different weapons. There was like two assassin classes in Warhammer Online, the Witch and the Witch Hunter. And the Witch Hunter had a rapier and a pistol, where the witch just had two daggers. And because of that, the witch hunter could still use his execution abilities with the pistol, where the witch had to get closer. And it was just like, oh, the balance was sometimes abysmal. And I just hope they're not doing the same mistake in this game. Like, I really, really hope they're not making the same mistake here. Like, I know why they want to do it, because in the end, unlocking a class for the other gender, that's not all. Like, the thing with those classes is every class has unique equipment, unique weapons, right? And with that, they are also designed for like male or female characters. Like, you can see it, by the way, with the class in the background, which is a female mage, or mage is the main branch class, and then she's an arcaner. But her equipment is unique, and it is unique because she is also female. So if they would just unlock the mage class for, well, male characters, they still have the problem that they have to redo the equipment, because, well, not everybody wants to wear that kind of outfit as a male character, right? And the same goes, of course, for female characters, and it just doesn't fit on the body, and, there's a lot of work to be done. And then, of course, you could ask the question, well, if I have to do that kind of work already, I could just create a new class for the particular gender, which is still very close to the other class, but still unique, right? You could still do that, because in the end it would be nearly the same work. So I understand the developers with that, but I also really hope they're doing it right. Like, please don't make this another Black Desert Online, or even worse, Warhammer Online. Like, don't do that, please. That's not what we need. Really, it isn't. So that is one of the reasons why we are still waiting for the release here. But one of the big issues was actually that we didn't had a publisher. And now it seems like we have found a publisher, and that is Amazon Game Studios. And I know a lot of people will say, wait, Amazon? Why? And is that a good thing? So first, let's talk about the why. And is this really confirmed? Yes and no. Amazon, and of course, the developer of this game, have not really mentioned that they are bringing Lost Ark to the West through Amazon. But in the official press release, there was also like an interview afterwards in South Korea, which they then deleted because it mentioned Lost Ark per name. But in the official announcement, Amazon was saying Smilegate RPG is bringing one of their great releases to the West. And I don't know if Amazon didn't know that, or if they didn't care, or if they didn't notice. I don't know exactly. But here's the thing. They mentioned in particular that they are working with Smilegate RPG to bring one of their successful games to the West. The thing is, when you are going to Wikipedia and you are opening up Smilegate RPG, you will realize there's only one game, and that is Lost Ark. They haven't made another game. So I wonder if Amazon just screwed up here and maybe mixed this with Smilegate. So Smilegate is like Activision Blizzard, right? Activision Blizzard, the company. But then there's Blizzard as the other company. So maybe they mixed this up with Smilegate, because Smilegate in itself actually has multiple games. Smilegate has actually a good amount of games out there, but Smilegate RPG, which is basically their Blizzard branch, doesn't have that. They have only one game, so it would be like somebody announcing that they are bringing one of Blizzard's great MMOs to the consoles. And you would be like, wait, but Blizzard only made one MMO, that's World of Warcraft. So yeah, you're bringing World of Warcraft to the consoles. Okay, I get that. Or did you mean Activision Blizzard? Then the whole thing looks a little bit different. But you get the idea, what I want to say with this, right? That maybe whoever wrote this mixed up Smilegate with Smilegate RPG, or really wasn't aware that Smilegate RPG actually just made one game and they didn't notice. So yeah, it's pretty much confirmed at this point. And is this a good thing? I, I will be honest here with you. I will be honest here with you. I don't know. Like, on the one hand, can it get worse what we already have with Lost Ark? Like, unfortunately, in the other regions, Lost Ark is weird when it comes to pay to win, and I will explain that in a minute what I meant with it. But I think it can only get better. And what I've seen from the Amazon games so far is that Amazon has released some good free to play games and also some good, well, not released, sorry, but they had like some good business models for their free to play games and even pay to play games. Of course, and that has to be said, the first two games Amazon wanted to release, which were free to play games, never came out. Or, well, Crucible came out, then did go back into closed beta, and now just a few days ago was shut down. So that's that. And they had another game before that which didn't even made it beyond beta, and that was what was it called? Takeaway? Runaway? Breakaway. Breakaway. Breakaway? I think it was Breakaway. It was like a weird game. It was absolutely weird. However, that never made it beyond closed beta, and now the next game they're working on is New World, and that had its own issues. Like, oh, that game has some long running issues, and this is why they postponed it multiple times. So maybe this is a good time for Amazon just to take a game which would fit in their portfolio and just be the publisher for it. See how it works. See how it works to publish a game which has been already established. And even on Twitch, which is Amazon owned, has some good numbers, even though it's only available in the East. But it already has some really, really good numbers every day. So maybe this is just a testing phase for Amazon. I don't know, but I really hope from a pure like business perspective, I hope they're not screwing up the free to play. Because here's the weird thing about Lost Ark. Lost Ark is a pay to win game, like literally pay to win. But then also the stuff they're giving you for pay to win are actually really bad money wise. Let me give you an example. So, Lost Ark came out in Japan, right? Free to play. But what you can buy there is like a buff, which is a subscription based system where you pay a monthly fee and you're getting 10% on basically everything: XP, harvesting XP, dungeon XP, like everything you're doing, you are getting like 10% more. And you might say, whoa, but this game is a farming game where this is like really, really strong and can help you out a lot. Yeah. So that's basically pay to win, right? Yeah, you get 10% of everything. Yeah. Yeah. But this is why I say this game cannot decide if it really wants to be pay to win or not, because if you're looking exactly how it works and how much you have to pay for it, you realize it's not. Because the subscription costs $20 per month. $20 per month. And people have tested it out. They wanted to see how this exactly works with basically 10% of everything, and it turns out it's not 10% of everything. It's 10% of very specific stuff. Like 10% XP from monster fights. Okay, there's a lot of monster fights in this game. Yeah, but only the monster fights which are not included for a quest. So if you do like specific monster fights for a quest, they are not giving you more XP. Not at all. So only the normal monsters you could basically farm and attack in the wilderness will give you 10% more, but you don't do that because 99% of the quest or of the XP you are getting in the game is quest XP and monster you have killed for that quest XP. So this is useless. Like, this is absolutely useless and far too expensive. And the same goes for the other things they're offering. It's always like they want to be pay to win. They really try to. But then they realize that this is probably not a good idea. And in the end, they don't do it. So it's like, okay, why do you put that in the first place then, when it is basically useless in the end? Like, why are you doing this? So this is why I say it cannot get worse. Like Lost Ark is already torn between what they want to be and what they are not. And maybe Amazon can help here. I don't know if this game will be free to play or pay to play. I will be honest, if this game will become pay to play without the item shop we have now, and let's say the Russian version, which I'm playing here in the background, I wouldn't mind. Seriously, I wouldn't mind. Because the stuff they're offering there, I would never buy. Like, I don't mind to buy a costume at some point. I don't mind to buy an amount, especially when it is, let's say, like a free to play game or a pay to play game where you don't buy a play subscription or anything. And I know that this money is going directly into development. I don't mind to give them my money. But I do mind to buy anything which empowers me. Or what we have seen in the past very much is the convenience item shops, where you are not really buying power anymore, but you are buying stuff which will lower your time quite a bit. You have to sink into the game. And especially nowadays, for a lot of people, time is everything. Like, there's a huge difference for people if they just have to take like 12 hours to finish a certain quest or something, or it would take them a month without the boost. Like, I also have a big problem with that when games are pulling this kind of trick where they're like, oh, we don't give you power, but we make it so that you would take so much time that it is not reasonable to give us money, right? Like, you have to give them money at that point. And you basically pay for the progression to not make it take too long. And I'm not a fan of that. Like mounts, skins, and some other nice things. Cool. I like to spend my money on that. I mean, as Path of Exile, as Final Fantasy, even though it's a subscription based game, like, I can live with that. But the moment I feel like I gain power or some of the things in the game don't take 20 hours to finish, then I have a problem with that. So, yeah. Like, in itself, TLDR of all of this, I'm looking forward to Lost Ark in the West, and I think that Amazon is an interesting choice at least, and I hope it will be a good one. And I can just hope that Amazon is not looking at the other regions for guidance on what they want in their item shop. I really don't hope so. Because if they do, oh, this game will be much, much harder for me to play sometimes. I can already tell you that. All right, with that said, this concludes our first episode of the Founders Arc, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to all of this, you can also subscribe to the channel if you're listening to this on YouTube, and you can also like this whole thing. If you listen to this on Spotify, I think you can also follow the playlist, and then you will see whenever there is a new episode popping up. But this is a weekly podcast, so we will be back next week on Saturday. So thank you so much for watching or listening, and I hope you have an awesome day wherever you are. See you then.